Now it's my great pleasure to welcome my wife, Dr. Ashira Meyers, to enlighten us with the Dvar Torah for this Shabbat Bereisheet, this sisterhood.
Hi. Do I have to talk into a microphone or it's...
Kind of, yes.
All right. I'd like to thank the sisterhood, not only for the invitation to speak today, but for this beautiful service that I think we all so desperately need. So thank you. It's beautiful, so thank you. Before I begin, I would just like to take a moment to acknowledge that we're gathered together today on Treaty 1, the traditional and beautiful territory, ancestral lands, and waters of the Anishinaabe, Cree, Oji-Cree, Dakota, and Dene peoples, and the homeland of the Red River Métis Nation. My heart today, however, is in our homeland, in Israel. I would like to dedicate this Dvar to the memory of the victims of the horrific attack in Israel. May their souls be bound up in the bond of life. It is also to honor the IDF and all who are involved in defending our country. And may Hashem grant them a rapid victory and bring them home safely and rapidly. Maybe we can all just take a moment to take a deep breath together. I don't know about you, but I think I've been holding my breath for far too long this week.
I know her.
Thank you. My mother said I should do this. I was saying to my husband yesterday that I didn't know if I could get up today and speak, and that I might just get up here and start to cry. And he said that would be okay too. A dear friend from a First Nation out west shared with me a few months ago that Indigenous elders believe that tears are medicine, that we should let them flow and then go out and feel the earth and feel the sun on our faces and connect with our Creator. I've taken this to heart this last week, and I encourage you all to as well. We're going to be managing a very ugly and difficult situation for a while, and we need to release that tension. I won't lie, it's been so difficult to think of how to address you all and what to say. I want so much to offer inspiration and hope and comfort. My usual scholarly study and preparation of a Dvar is quite different this time. This week's Shabbat Bereisheet begins with a very depressing description of the planet Earth. And the earth was tohu vavohu, without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. And the Spirit of Hashem was hovering upon the face of the waters. There are many translations of tohu vavohu. Some translate it as without form and void, but others instead translate it as chaos. In any case, it's remarkable that even though the Torah says the Spirit of God was there, chaos was the only reality in the world. That is, until Hashem said, "Let there be light." How fitting for all of us at a time when we've all been consumed by the darkness of the last week. I find it remarkable that it's been only a week. Time has lost all meaning as we scan every possible outlet for updates and information about our people throughout Israel, praying for an end to the terror that Hamas initiated 1 short week ago. Last Shabbat morning, my husband left for shul, and we both had such heavy hearts, not even knowing what was about to unfold in the coming hours and days. It almost feels like a new form of tohu vavohu is somehow working and trying to push the light away. There have been some bright spots, however. This includes reaching out to each other to check in, and hearing from non-Jewish friends or colleagues who make the effort to contact us to express horror while offering solidarity and support, or hearing from government officials from some countries around the world speak up, send aid, and condemn the atrocities. All of this helps us feel a little less alone. These are so important and offer a glimmer of hope when we feel so desperate and afraid. I realize that at the same time, the silence from others far too many others is deafening and shocking. People we thought were allies have not expressed concerns, support, or even taken the time to check in. I know we're all very aware of these gaps, and mentally we're trying to reconcile the surprise and fear that so many of us are feeling. As a global community, comforting each other, our elderly, our young, it became clear immediately how essential it is to be united. We can't let differences or disagreements infiltrate the power of a united front. I think the clear message that we all see is that if we split, the light gets dimmer and chaos resurfaces. The so-called importance of most previous and past disagreements seems so inconsequential at a time when we are targeted as a nation. I'm a believer that there are no coincidences, that things happen how and when they do for a reason. We find ourselves now at the beginning of a new year where only 1 week and 1 day ago, we were filled with such hope for the year to come. And now, so many uncertainties, we all feel shaky and scared. But let us look to the Torah for answers, for lessons, for guidance, and for comfort. Let's go back to the book of Genesis. Even in the beginning, in the face of this incredible new creation, it didn't take long after the let it be light for rivalries to emerge and fights between siblings to develop in the new world. We see the stories of Cain and Abel ending in Cain killing his brother. A few generations later, more descriptions. Tension and fighting between Isaac and Ishmael, between Jacob and Esau, between Rachel and Leah, between Joseph and his brothers. We did the work just a few short weeks ago as Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur circled back to us again. The reflection, the humility, the work to specifically face our faults, our transgressions, to make amends, and how we would like to look forward with hope and determination to do better. It was the first time for many of us to join together in person since the beginning of the COVID pandemic. It wasn't easy, there was unease and uncertainty, but we faced it hopefully as a slow and steady beginning that can be built upon. We've rallied behind Ukraine for the last 2 years to show solidarity and offer aid in the face of targeted, intentional evil. And despite global support, this war continues, and we hear daily reports of ongoing attacks. But the world stood up. They said, we don't accept this, we condemn this, and support poured in from all over the globe. We may know in theory that it's important to stand together, but we also have evidence from the Torah that God specifically tells us that unity is important and good. Unity is so essential, the rabbis explain, the reason why, on the second day of creation, God didn't say it was good, because there was a break in the unity, the separation from the waters. We woke up last Shabbat to the worst news we've had collectively in a long time. It's not the time to be naive. Despite Hamas doing exactly what they've been threatening to do for more than 30 years, people never imagined it would truly happen. And tragedy hit a divided Israeli society, a society that was focused on the differences and disagreements as opposed to the things that united them, a society that became distracted because they weren't united. Tohu vavohu was felt in the whole land. But in the last few days, we witnessed a nation putting aside their differences, pulling together, and being united once again, bringing light to face the evil of Hamas. In the military, unity is essential in completing a mission successfully. The adherence to the directions and the vision of the commander pulls the ranks together in a way to accomplish things that can't be achieved without it. I remember this message from the commander on my army base in Picud Darom, the south of Israel, when he was running training operations. He made it clear there was no room for disharmony. As King Solomon, once the wisest man in history, told us in Ecclesiastes, 2 are better than 1 because they have a good return for their labor. If either of them falls down, one can help the other up. But pity anyone who falls and has no one to help them. Or closer to us, Winston Churchill warned humanity, when there's no enemy within, the enemies outside cannot hurt you. Perhaps we should remember and be inspired by the words of Martin Luther King Jr. We must learn to live together as brothers or perish together as fools. One of the comprehensive mitzvot of the Torah is the mitzvah of Ahavat Yisrael, the love for a fellow Jew, which the sages of the Talmud declare to be a great principle of Torah and the basis of the entire Torah. Essentially, the mitzvah points to the unity of all Jews as if they constitute a single entity. So how do we do this? Someone we don't get along with, pray for them, and for ourselves to have the strength and patience to find peace in that relationship. Go out of our way to be a blessing, demonstrate our intentions in action, not just in words. Ask Hashem to remove barriers in our paths that prevent us from supporting each other. Walking the space together, the world will recognize us as a united people that stand up for each other, not tear each other down. We can respect our differences and it won't threaten our individual needs. We need not compete with each other, but celebrate our uniqueness and diversity in how we express ourselves and our beliefs. In fact, this freedom and security and the ability to do this is healthy and important for our own sense of self and well-being. From Psalms 133, we read, "How good and pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity, for there the Lord has commanded the blessing." I have no doubt that together we are better, stronger, and more powerful. In 2020, Rabbi Lord Jonathan Sachs said, "Not all of us have power, but we all have influence. That is why we can each be leaders. The most important forms of leadership come not with position, title, or robes of office, not with prestige and power, but with the willingness to work with others to achieve what we cannot do alone." So my friends, take the time to reach out, to check in. As hard as it is, try not to immerse yourselves in endless hours of news reports, but to unite with your siblings. We are all suffering and scared, but we are in this together, and united, we will succeed. Only light, the light of unity, will drive out the darkness that threatens us all right now. Have faith in the power of leadership guiding the IDF, their might and their unity unparalleled, and we all know that they will succeed. Am Yisrael Chai.